everybody. This is Super Mike 2164. Greetings. Hey, Ma. I'm glad that you guys are tuned in. And we'll have a discussion a little later. I'm going to lay down some information. Lay down a little information first, and maybe we can get into it. So let's talk about evolution, evolving stupid. You know, we have this impression about evolution, the way they're taught, the way it's taught to us. You know, as if, you start off as a little microbe, a little amoeba or something, and you kind of graduate into a little worm. Then you turn into a little rat, turn into a horse, then you kind of graduate into a little monkey, I guess, and then you're supposed to turn into a human. That's how they got evolution going. But does it really go like that? What's going on, Exile? What's up? Yeah, so evolution, shalom, brother, shalom alaikum. Peace be unto you. So the thing is, guys, evolution, you can evolve stupid. You can evolve backwards. And if you're dealing with scientists, especially racist scientists, they get to create your conditions. And what causes was the impetus behind evolution and that you're evolving is the conditions that you're faced with. For example, they're talking about evolution. Now, the thing is, this kind of brings a lot of stuff into context because monkeys could have came from people. Yeah. Let's look at this real quick. Just want to show something. Hold on. Because the thing is, if you don't control your resources and conditions, then somebody can get in their head. Let me get out of here because actually I want to do it here. Hold on.
Professor Nick Humphrey is an
Let me turn this music down a little bit.
He first heard of the family through a medical paper produced by Turkish scientists.
It looks as if we really did have something rather like a throwback in evolution.
You see, a throwback in evolution.
And the Turkish professor who invited us there, that's the way he thought about it. And in fact, others in the scientific community took up that line and said, yes, here for all the world is a genetic problem which has undone the last 3 million years of evolution, returned them to a primitive stage.
It sounded like the anthropological find of the millennium, a once-in-a-lifetime discovery that scientists dream of. If the family proved to be true quadrupeds, walking on all fours, they may provide the elusive missing link between man and ape. Humphrey set out for Turkey with a scientific team to record his findings.
This is a very exciting moment for us. We don't know quite what we're going to expect from whether we'll really see quadrupedal humans. I don't know. It's never been reported in the scientific literature. Didn't notice.
Rajit Ullas and his wife have an astounding 4. They all still live at home, cared for by their brothers and sisters and their parents, now in their 60s.
So far as we knew, no other case like the one in front of our eyes ever been described before. There were no reports in the scientific literature of adult human beings walking on all fours. And so we realized we had a major phenomenon in front of us to explain from a scientific.
It's an action like that, is it?
No, they don't push on them at all. They actually just do the lift on the heel on a very soft, flat surface. They will put their fingers down, but on a rough surface.
So I wanted to show this because the fact is, you can evolve dumb. And I've been listening to a lot of panels today. I've been talking to several people. You got a situation where people believe that, that we got all sorts of crazy beliefs. But that's due to the conditions that we've been put under for quite some time. And so what I wanted to do with this here is I'm just going to touch base on a couple subjects. I actually want to play a couple pieces of unrelated news. This is if we don't know a lie when we hear it, here you go.
Particularly the last one, the shutdown, the sweeping shutdown. Do you regret particularly the last one, the shutdown, the sweeping shutdown that some said made things worse?
No, I don't, Neil. And in fact, I think we need to make sure that your listeners understand I didn't shut down anything.
I recommended to the president that we shut the country down.
So that's all I'm going to play of that. But that's a piece where they, because of YouTube and everybody, But the bottom line is, this guy lies.
News come to our attention that a mysterious force is loose somewhere in outer
This guy
space.
particular. Let me turn this down.
Of creation is there.
Let me turn that off. Sorry. No, I just wanted to show that because this particular guy lies, and these are official lies. So we need to understand that this whole system gets its power from lies. So when you've been fed a constant diet of lies, of course, you're trying to evolve based on lies, then you evolve stupid. Now, I'm going to go into this here because my brother BMT, he did a show, and he had a debate with a brother named Zell. And let me see if I can pull this up. This is where I really want to get on. And the title of his show is this the era of weak black men, and how do we come out of this? And what was surprising is that when he did this show, I listened to a portion of it, but when he did this, to me, a guy calls in named Zell. And he proceeds to debate Zell Austin. Zell wants to justify the weakness of men. He calls himself a man, but we're going to listen to it, just a little bit of this. And shout out, fair use, but shout out to BMT. He gave me permission to use some of his footage, so I'm going to use some of this here. And we're just going to look straight at it.
You're being intolerant of someone's choices and decisions that do not affect you at all. So that would be something that you're hating on. Like if something doesn't affect you or bother you at all, just in regular talk.
So
like,
wait, hold on, wait, let me get this straight.
Now hold on. Now BMT is talking to this guy, and the guy is saying something about hate and intolerance, basically making them synonymous. But if you listen real closely in the background, he's actually being told what to say by a lady. She's literally putting words in this man's mouth. That right there is what struck me with this debate. Because you have a man that's not speaking his own words. You got a man that's not even speaking his own words. versus somebody who's speaking honestly about his perspective. But you got a man that's speaking the words put in his mouth by a lady that's standing right over him, like he's a mother. That indicates some sort of trauma to me. But I want to let that debate play on just a little bit. We're going to listen to it.
So me as a man, you're telling me that I have to accept you or that trans for their ideals rather than them just
like what do you hold on. So what do you mean by accept? Like what do you mean? Like you don't they yeah, you have to accept like they do exist. They're out there. So like
I mean you can say if you want to put on makeup, wig, lipstick, and say that you're a woman, you can do that. That's your body. That's your choice.
Yeah,
that don't mean I gotta fucking say you're a woman. I'm not saying that dumb shit. That to me is soft. That to me is soft because you're going along to make somebody feel comfortable. That's soft.
Yeah, that's
soft. I'm not saying that shit. I'm not gonna ever say that. See, a man that's gonna go along and just say, well, yeah. Well,
now we see this is the point I got here. This is weakness. Now, what we don't understand here, what's happening in this photo, in this debate too, is we got several things happening. You got someone who is speaking honestly, then you got somebody who's listening to a woman, but also he doesn't have his own thoughts. Then he rolls up a blunt, which is probably marijuana. And what a lot of folks don't understand, and as far as the conditions that we've been subjected to in this country, is we've been told that marijuana is okay to smoke and breathe and everything. But now we have scientists that's telling us that actually, I'm showing this here, there's a pot plot. Let me stop sharing for a second. I don't know. Okay. There's a pot plot. This marijuana literally zaps testosterone. Hey, people didn't want to understand this, but that is why they promote it. That's why they want it in all of the songs. This is why they want it heavily pushed to the black community. Anytime they really heavily push something to you, you know it's a trap in there. You know there's a trap in there. So this man is rolling a blunt, zapped of his testosterone, arguing about telling black men that we need to accept other men who want to dress up like women. And we need to accept that as if that is what should be. And we should just get along with it. And it's not affecting you. So shut up and keep it moving. No, we get to talk. We get to express ourselves just like they do. And we're going to say what's on our minds. And shout out to BMT for going ahead and BMT just basically kind of treated them lightly.
Actually, strength is like found when someone knows that they've done something wrong, when someone learns something new, when someone is presented with new ideas and presented with things that contradict something that they've been taught when they're a kid, and they come to realizations and enlightenment. That takes strength. That's called growth. That is growing pains. Those things.
How's that growing pain? How's that growing pain? You're telling me as a man, I got to. If I don't want to date you, or see you as. They're saying that if a man does not
have to date them.
Hold on, wait. Actually, there used to be in Texas, there was something called the Mayberry dance. It was when the females would go to the boys and ask them out on a dance. Now, the trans boys would want the other boys to take them out. The boys said, hell no, we're not taking y'all asses out. Y'all are boys. So guess what? It was canceled because they couldn't have their way. That was bullshit. Because the boys don't want to go out with the trans.
Just have a party somewhere else. Just don't go to that.
Hold on.
Now you see how dumb that is? Your solution, instead of telling these people who have a mental issue, millions and millions and billions of years of human evolution, masculine and feminine, The normal people need to go somewhere instead of getting these people who have this delusion that they want to have XX chromosomes instead of XY. Whatever reason why they have that delusion, they get to stay. That is an era of weakness. That's evolving the community into stupidity. That's what that is. That's what's going to happen if we was to support this type of idea. So let me go forward because I don't want to go too much into it, but let me and I'm gonna drop this link just in case. What's going on, James? I'm gonna drop this link just in case anybody wants to come up. But I mean, it'll be a pretty quick show today. I just wanted to get out a little bit of this here because I did say I wanted to talk about this. But this particular, we got to understand that, look, if you accept certain ideas, there's a range of what's tolerable. But, the first priority of any group of people or any human or any life form is to live, is to continue to live. So when you accept ideas and ideology that produces not life but death. Now, if people wanted to dress up like a woman, a male wanted to dress up like what we consider a woman, and a female wanted to dress up like we consider a male, okay, but they end up getting together and having children, then, what can I say? They produce life. They're part of the community as long as they don't break the laws, this and this and that. It's just the way they want to dress. But they literally want to establish and promote an idea of that is something that you don't forcibly stop them, but what you do is you maintain the line of what should be acceptable for a civilized society. This idea that people should basically neuter themselves almost, if you let those type of ideas gain permanency, then you end up with these type of problems of population, and you don't know what to do when you're in it. So let me finish this.
Are being obstructive. You are being problematic. It's just true.
So wouldn't that make an era of weak men if I progressively do not go along with what that other person or group feels? I have to bend a knee to them.
Progress is a strength. Progress is
no.
So this guy says progress is strength, but progress in what agenda?
No.
You get progress in your muscle.
Hold on, wait. Listen to what you just said. You're saying that. Hold on. I listened to you. I sat quietly. If I don't agree with how a man or woman or political agenda talks or acts or how they push towards me, I'm problematic as a man.
They're not putting anything towards you.
That's a lie. They are putting something towards you because this man right here is saying to accept the agenda and ideology of those folks. And that would be fine. But those folks want to have access to points in time of our lives and children's lives and education that we don't want to allow those type of teachings. So no, that is problematic to us.
Saying that, wait. If I don't accept a man that puts on a wig and lipstick as well, he believes he's a woman, I should accept that. And
yes,
I'm like,
accept that he believes he's a woman. Yes.
No,
that.
I don't.
Why not? That's ridiculous for you to.
I don't.
You see, the tolerance lie doesn't work both ways. You can't call for tolerance for stuff you want, but intolerance for everybody. People have to tolerate the range and what their agenda is. If your agenda is the LGBTQ agenda, then that's your agenda, but you can't tell everybody else to tolerate you because you're not going to tolerate everyone else because it's going to go against your agenda.
Wait, you're saying that's ridiculous that wait. A man that has that has made children, has traveled and been around, I'm supposed to, with my eyes, see that as a woman.
No,
And
I didn't say that. I
multiple
didn't say that,
children.
BMT. Listen. I said you need
You hear the woman in the background tell them what to say?
to acknowledge that this person believes that they are a woman, not that BMT has automatically saw the light and now, oh yes, he is a woman. No, all I'm saying is if this person believes that they are a woman, then you, as that someone who it doesn't affect at all, you just accept that.
No. See, when they say it doesn't affect you, that right there. I mean, the thing is, everybody has an agenda, James. And that's what people need to understand. Now, when somebody, it's almost like if you're playing a chess game. You know, if someone else over there in another little room somewhere playing checkers, that doesn't affect you. But the person who you're playing against, if they are making a move, then you have to be aware of that. That affects us. So when people are making agendas on your children, yeah, you do. Everybody has an agenda. Your agenda is to travel, you know, live life the way you want to live it. If somebody decided to, break down all travel, no travel, you would be affected by that. You want freedom of travel. Everybody has some sort of agenda, and that's normal. Now the thing is, a lot of agendas are compatible, but there are some agendas that are not compatible. And if we have an agenda in this particular society, and of course we have our arguments over whatever we have, but nobody is going to be expected to accept an agenda that's diametrically opposed to what you believe. If you believe that, children should have the right to live, and, you want to better communities, you want to educate people so they can take care of their children better, then, someone who just says, just kill your children. Yeah, I am. I'm stating an agenda. You have an agenda, but if you know what that word means, I can't force an agenda on you. You call up here all the time. You talk, you've stated your agenda. It's just your way. It's just what you want for your life. Even you saying I don't want an agenda, you're stating what you don't want. You just have your way. That's it. That's what your agenda is. Your way. It's your way. Okay, that's all an agenda is, and there's nothing wrong with having agendas. Nothing. Everyone should have an agenda if you're a functioning human being. But the thing is, when people play the game like, "Oh, you're not tolerant," well, I mean, yeah, you're going to tolerate what you can tolerate based upon how you see the world, your personal self. But if somebody is diametrically opposed to the way you're trying to get it done, you're not going to tolerate that. If you believe in saving the sea turtles, but then someone says, kill them all, you're going to diametrically oppose that person. That's all. So don't play, I just don't think it's good to play for people to be playing these games. But this LGBT, the trans community, they have an agenda. Okay, so but it's okay. But they know they should expect that they're going to receive that pushback as they start pushing their agenda in places where the conflict is highest. So that's what I say on that.
You just be like, okay, he thinks he's a woman. You have no authority to say, oh, this person believes he's a woman. Oh, he's lying. He knows he's a man. Like, that's ridiculous for you. Like,
okay, now Zell, I will say, if I said this, and I'm gonna show you, Zell, if I said hip hop is dysfunctional, would you accept that?
Would I accept all right, look.
I don't know about that example.
trying to be slick and rubbing up against little titties every now and then, trying to catch try to catch a nip slip or something like that. I was a young lad.
Let me ask you a question. Do you know any 4 or 5-year-olds that were attracted?
No, ask him
himself.
Ask him himself.
Expected to be in conversation with multiple.
You're not like
you.
Who's?
I mean, I'm just saying, like,
you don't have multiple conversations with 4 and 5-year-olds, BNT. Just speak for yourself.
And you hear this woman, and the woman doesn't want to get on camera, but this guy has a nerve to say, "Speak for yourself." And this woman's been putting words in his mouth all this time. It's just crazy. But, you know, we don't care about facts or function. We don't care about function no more. That's the sign of the fall of an empire. That's what you're looking at. That's why James left America, because there's a fall of empire. So you're going to get this. But, you know, you're living in a time when you actually get to see it. You get to see it. Dysfunctional ideas. Ideas that tell the population it's okay to smoke all the dope that you want. Now, I don't know if I would make dope illegal. Certain dope. I wouldn't make dope illegal. But the messaging that I would put out would be so... Basically, the public would just basically say, what, like, why would you smoke it? Why would you kill yourself with that? I wouldn't necessarily have to regulate it with legality in that way. I would just put the messaging out where we want you to, you know, advance yourself scholastically, you know, economically or what have you, and drugs would be totally against that. That's how I would try to control the drug supply. But that's just me. But this is what dysfunction looks like. It really doesn't make any sense. But that's why I say evolving stupid. Because I played this earlier. You got a government that can run.
And the only way to do that.
You got a government official that can literally say this all on camera as if no one has. You know, we have I'm not talking. That's why I say I would not make things illegal where the police has to necessarily get involved with certain stuff, but weed can be abused, and especially most of the weed nowadays is genetically engineered to increase the THC, which does zap. It's like an estrogen. It zaps a man's testosterone. You know, the more we take it, and it over time, especially if you start from a young age, it can affect the way your brain development happens. I mean, this is what we're seeing. This is why I say it's an evolution situation, because there's a lot of stuff that's going on that's actually affecting the way humans develop. And what that means is that it can actually feminize the men. And then the estrogen, the way weed is set up, the THC is like an estrogen-like thing. Yeah, see, that's the reason why you're okay. You've been smoking since 13? Oh, shit. Okay. But there you go. You should read on that. It has an effect. You probably think differently than a lot of folks that you know. It just has an effect. And that's why I said I wouldn't make things illegal. But, you know, when people think that, oh, just because I do this, it's good. No, I mean, it's just you enjoy doing that. It still has the same effects that the scientists have studied. It just has those effects. And then if you smoke the real strong stuff, you know, just look up THC and, you know, estrogen and testosterone. It has an effect. So that's all. And, you know, so, you know, whatever. The point is, though, it's not just weed, though. It's everything. The point that I'm really making, go get that AR-15. But the thing is, though, like, for example, if you're into the pacifist thing, then the government would like that better. than you being into the militant thing, because you're going to go down there and hold them accountable. So, but what kind of population would tolerate something like this? Listen, I'm just going to play the beginning of this. But we experienced COVID, the way that the United States handled COVID. This was the lead guy in that. So now he's on Fox News trying to distance himself from some of those decisions that he made. I can't believe he's saying this.
Do you regret particularly the last one, the shutdown, the sweeping shutdown that some said made things worse?
No, I don't, Neil. And in fact, I think we need to make sure that your listeners understand I didn't shut down anything.
I recommended to the president that we shut the country down.
And they just keep playing those type of clips from him. So I don't know why he did that. But why did he do that? Because you can create a new historical record. Because people are, they know it's a lie, but they're just like, yeah. And the thing is, we're stupid. Why? How did we evolve into a dumb, mess of dope smoking, non-children having, just people who don't feel anything better is going to come into the future. The thing is, people used to fight for stuff that they wanted. But, nobody feels responsible. Why? Because you keep getting, keep a lot of failure. You try to make something better and then you get punished for it. So why keep trying? Why try? Maybe that's the issue. So I'm going to want to put this on this recording too. This about Darwin. Actually, not really Darwin, but let's look at this here. I want to read off this gender thing because I want to still be dealing with this debate here. But anytime when we got a situation where right here, they say there's 81 types of genders and gender identities. There's a point in here. This is stupid. Now they want to adjust the definitions of words just so they can justify a certain narrative. How many genders are there? There are 80 ways to describe gender. There is no comprehensive list of genders. So now you're gone. If there's no comprehensive list of a gender, is having kids such a fun thing to do? No, it's a responsibility. If sex didn't feel good, then human race wouldn't exist. Because we're not doing it because we understand that humans need to procreate, therefore the line of humanity can continue. We don't care about that. We just want to have the fun in sex. So, yeah, because the children part is the hard part. But later on, it becomes fun if you do it right, because then those kids will honor you and get you stuff and, make you feel proud. But no, they're not in the beginning because they cry and they put you through all sorts of stuff. Exactly. But sex is the action that leads to children. Of course, you're right. Sex and having kids are two different things. But sex is it's just like nature. This is what nature does. Nature will take something that you like, but put something in there that you really don't like. For example, they will take a cherry, but they'll put a seed in the middle of it. Well, yeah, because life is sucking all life's energy out of you. The universe sucks all life energy out of you. And then you can put that life energy into those kids and they will continue further than you. That's how it's supposed to be. That's life. We are little leaves on a tree. You're going to die off. It would be cool to have all of the accomplishments that you did. If you taught somebody, they will continue some of your agendas on. That would be cool. You got a kid, it looks after you, kind of helps you out. It makes you feel proud, and you know that the things that you think is important, somebody's there that thinks they're as important as well. So yeah, go ahead and have those kids. You need another generation of James. Right. So the thing is, though, if you don't know what a gender is, it's just a male and a female. It's two genders. Now, when people want to, there's no comprehensive. If you can't tell me there's no list of genders, how can you tell me anything? 80 ways to describe a gender? All right. This is what, but these are the people that want to run everything and tell us what's tolerant and this is a ball of confusion. So you got all of this occult, AFAB. I'm not going to read all of this stuff. I'm just Alia gender. People are neither male, female. God. They are people who experience a gender identity that doesn't fit masculine, feminine spectrum. Okay. Ali and Hawami. God. AMAB, assigned male at birth. Androgynous, April, gender. I can't accept all this weird stuff. Nope. Because it's immaterial. We don't need any of this stuff to continue the species of human beings. All of that stuff is a waste of time. Guess what we need? XX and XY. We need male and female. That's all we need. All of this stuff is just stuff that we're making up today to play games. I don't know. I don't know how many agendas are in Afghanistan. It's just like, this is stupid. So you got, let me see. I think I was trying to find when there was, because I believe that, people with all of these different genders and sexual confusion and gender confusion, trying to put people out, they have such mental trauma, but then they direct that mental trauma on people who are perfectly normal, who don't even know them. So they're saying that they don't affect us, but they're constantly pushing into our situation to try to make us notice them and accept them, to validate themselves. If they were normal and validated themselves, they wouldn't care. Well, it starts in America, yeah, because there's an agenda, and that's a good point. This stuff starts in America because in America, you have a situation where you have a war, an internal war against a portion of the population. So even this guy, Peter Brigham, he wrote this book. Peter Brigham. Let me see. The War Against Children of Color. Psychiatry targets inner city youth, which are black children. And this guy wrote this book. And let's see if I can find him himself. I think I can find him. I think this is it. I think he has a website here. All right. So basically, he didn't show his face on this one, but oh yeah, there he is. That's him. This is the guy. So this guy, he detailed a war that, because he worked in the psychological field, and he was showing how there's psychology, they're using chemicals, they're using chemical attacks, psychiatric medicines, and all sorts of stuff to target the inner city black youth. And then what happens is you target black people, and then they survive it, but they come out weird. And then they started spreading that stuff all over the world. Yeah, so that's what you have. You have all of this weird stuff because they don't want to deal with the fact that they got these black people here. If you don't want the black people here, just give us a couple states and let us do our thing. But instead, they feel like they just want to try to poison us to death as if we're some kind of roaches or something. But I guess we don't really die that easy. But that's where this stuff is coming from. This stuff is coming from the efforts of the United States to try to neutralize these black people who have been giving them problems ever since they stopped enslaving them, even before they stopped enslaving them. It's a big problem with people here that didn't really choose to be here at first, and then you've tricked and lied to them, and now you got this millions and millions of people on the planet who have this issue with you. And you don't want to give up some of the money to go ahead and, try to clear up the situation. Because what folks don't understand is millions and millions of people don't easily forget crimes against them as a humanity. That's the issue with crimes against humanity. They have to be resolved publicly, big. That's what reparation does. It ends it. But when you're unwilling to do that reparations thing, then what happens is this stuff just keeps going from generation to generation. It'll keep going like that way. That's what the Kerner Commission did. So, I mean, I'm just coming out here with this, guys. I'm not trying to go too long with this. No one wants to come up, but I really wanted to focus on this particular debate because here you have a guy, and this guy kind of reminded me of Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. It's like this woman is putting all these ideas in this man's head, and he's not strong enough to, just say, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. And BMT catches them up factually several times, but because people don't care about facts, they just keep talking. They don't care.
Speak for you. Wait. So you're saying you were attracted?
I was attracted to little girls when I was a little boy. Yes.
So this man is asking, "Oh, were you attracted to girls when you were a kid?" Then he's looking at BMT like something's wrong with him because these people have this idea. Oh, if you have any criticism towards this LGBT community, then you must be that yourself. You must be gay yourself. That's probably why you're criticizing them. And the thing is, it's stupid. It's a stupid charge, but whatever. That's what they want to think. Let them think that. The point is, when I was 5 and 6, I wasn't running after little girls like that. I didn't really even know, all of what to do like that. I mean, I seen men and women kissing in movies, and I felt like, oh, that's what you're supposed to do. But we wasn't really doing all that. Just wasn't. Later on, yeah, but not that young. I just wasn't. So, but not saying everybody was like me.
Okay, so you attracted the little boy, the little girl. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you right now, I was never okay. So I got a question. Okay, so were you attracted to little trans? Were you attracted to little trans?
Not attracted to little.
Hold on.
Sell. You were attracted to Power Rangers and Wolverine when you was a little boy. I was attracted to little girls. I was attracted to.
So can I say you were attracted to a trans girl if there was a trans girl around you? I mean,
what? What are you talking about? I'm 4 and 5 years old. All I see is girls. What are you talking about?
So I mean, how did you know that was a girl? How did you know that was a girl?
Because I'm 4 and 5 years old and I could see what a girl looks like. What are you talking about? What are we doing?
Wait,
whoa.
See, you got him right there, but he doesn't care about a fact. Girls look a certain way. That's why these trans a lot of people don't appreciate them because they like to make themselves looking. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you kissing people at 5, and that's cool. But a lot of times kids do that because they've seen other people do that or seen it on TV, and they get a chance to do it and they try it. So, it's all good. But some people don't because they were just playing. I mean, we was just playing in fields, and you know, I was around a lot of girls, different little girls and stuff. We were just playing. We weren't kissing. We played hide go get it when it was about 8 and 9 and 10 and all that kind of stuff, but it was just a game. I really wasn't trying to get those girls the way you try to get them when you're a little older at 5 and 4 and all that stuff. You're just like, okay, this is a girl. You're just looking at her. That's it. Yeah, I mean, it might be a little instinct. Who knows? I mean, I'm sure it is an instinct. I don't doubt that at all. But the point this guy was trying to make was a disingenuous point. Just because you criticize something on the LGBT people doesn't mean, oh, that means you want to be that. You want to be the LGBT. That's the issue there. So.
Oh, wait.
And girls look a certain way. So when you got transgenders walking around, let's say a little boy is attracted to the way a girl looks, but now you got this transgender person here who's reading books to kids at 4 and 5 years old, confusing children. A lot of people in the normal straight community don't like that because we feel like if you're going to be that anyway, just wait it out and keep the minds of the children clean until they get older. What's going on, Leroy?
What's happening?
What's going on, bro? Yeah, we're just cooking this a little bit, just cooking up this little debate that BMT had with somebody. And it's just dealing with these genders and all of this weird confusion. People got to accept that crap that we're supposed to be. I mean, it's like if you don't accept something diametrically opposed to your agenda, then you have to be demonized. It's crazy.
I mean, that's the rules now, isn't it? Seems like. I mean, you either go along, or as far as they're concerned, you're canceled. But you know what? As far as canceling, some people need to be canceled. Like,
I don't mind being
had this.
by those folks. I wish I was, but they keep saying that, oh, it has nothing to do with you. It doesn't affect your decision making. It doesn't affect your life. Okay, well, cancel me and leave us alone. Let me talk, because when I'm talking, it doesn't affect you either.
Yes.
See? But I guess it does, doesn't it?
It doesn't, but that's what they want to believe.
It has an effect, and the effect that we're talking about is the conditioning of the population.
Yes, absolutely.
It has an effect, you know.
And the fact that it and they're targeting children.
Mm-hmm.
Children. The same way abortion targets children, the most defenseless among us. That's who they go after. And then if you say anything, then you're a hater. You know the terms: homophobic, transphobic, all these different things. And you may not even care about these people at all. You may not even care enough to hate them.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other end, you may care enough that you pity them and your heart goes out to them because they are making a decision that isn't normal. It's not.
Well, it's not sustainable. It's not. It's dysfunctional. But that's what they want to do. Let's say like this. This is what I can accept. If you want to go out, destroying your family line, you want to take yourself out in that manner, and you've made that decision. Okay, well, you're going to do that alone with somebody else who's made that decision or whatever. Go over there, take yourself out, live out your days and go. But when you're actively out here trying to get everybody to repeat the decision, see, you got to recruit people. You can't have children. You're recruiting. You're going there turning people as if you're some sort of, like, what do you call that, a vampire or something? It's like you got to turn folks. That's what's crazy. And then we got
vampires and werewolves.
And so let's see. And then when we see situations like this, you shared this video and I'm gonna share this. Let's see. We get stuff like this. Share this video.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Look at this.
On my way to the clinic, I got the plan B. Let's go. I got murder on my mind. Let's go. I got murder on my mind.
So there you go.
You know what's really crazy about that, Mike, and I think you had mentioned it the other night that she is flat out saying I got murder on my mind, and she's not talking about doing a drive-by or hitting up some folks who came at her. None of that. She's talking about going to the abortion clinic. But
what did she call it, James? See, you call it a nice little scientific word. Oh, this is just abortion. What did the girl call it? What did the girl call it? She said she got murder on her mind.
Yeah. And that's what it is. I mean, but I really hope James is joking when he says what's wrong with abortion. What's right with it? Give me one thing right with abortion. I will change my mind.
Nah.
Yeah, that don't exist. Abortion, let's call it what it is. Abortion is clean. Let's call it what it is. Child sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's happening in the womb and not on the altar doesn't make it any less child sacrifice.
And then even in the song, the girl says she's not gonna have this dude's baby coming out of her. You just killed it. It's still coming out of you. Dead though.
And you still look, and you still a parent. You just a parent to a baby that you killed that belongs to you.
Yeah, you just came to the clinic and you just, there you go.
And then what really gets me is, people who support it and these different events.
What was the lady name who made those clinics? You need to name those clinics after.
Who, Margaret Sanger?
Yeah. So when we say what's wrong with abortion, what did Margaret Sanger, who created those clinics called Planned Parenthood, what did she say?
That we were weeds and needed to be gotten rid of.
We don't want the word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population. So when you say what's wrong with abortion, talking especially from Black people's perspective, especially from Planned Parenthood, we find that those of us who research and know some of this here, we know that it's an agenda of our death behind it. So we can't tolerate that. It's the same thing we were talking about earlier.
But you see what she said about we don't want the word to go out that we want to exterminate Black people.
Right.
So what is she really saying? She's saying that, we don't want the word to go out, but what are we doing? We are exterminating Black people. That's why you don't want the word to go out. And then I confronted, not confronted like in a bad way, because I was calling in on a radio show, and I spoke to a female. She has a doctorate, not a doctorate like a medical doctor, but she has a doctorate. And I asked, and I gave her the background on Margaret Sanger. I ain't no telling. But I asked her, at the end of describing Margaret Sanger, asked her why are some trying to help Margaret Sanger complete her mission? She started the Negro Project to get rid of us. And her response was, well, that may be how it started, but it's not about that now.
No.
It's not. It's not about that now.
Well, they're going to say whatever they got to say because they're going to defend something. It's like when you first confront somebody with something that they and they didn't either necessarily know or whatever, and you give them some facts, and you kind of create that cognitive dissonance. So they end up saying something pretty dumb just to kind of justify, their dependency on the stupid. They don't want to have to reevaluate everything they've learned, and that's all to that. Because they're not going to just admit everything right within that first conversation. They ain't going to do that. Even if they feel like you're right, unless they're real humble. But most people, when you having a little conversation like that, it's like I was talking to some people earlier, and they was talking about this little controversy about the Africans and the Black Americans here. And they were advocating for the Africans' position, and they were saying, "Oh, these Black Americans calling themselves Native Americans, that's stupid and dumb and stuff." I was like, "Well, now you just right there. Even if you did make sense on what you said, now since you got to put that in there, it invalidated you. Nope, those folks are not going to listen to you." So people got a lot of pride. So like when we talking to people sometimes, it's like you got to pepper in some of this information so they can actually think about it. Because some of them they don't care about the facts, but some of them they'll be like, okay, I have to rethink this. But they got to do that in the privacy of their own home sometimes, because sometimes it's too much for them.
It may, but if I'm on the wrong track and I'm giving some valid information, I mean, you got to reconsider it. I would hope, whether you own up to it in that moment or later, I hope the change comes, because, I mean, good grief. The number of, and the same kind of people talk about, let's go vote. We're going to get what we need by voting and all this. Okay, let's say you're right. Well, you would have more votes if you had less abortions. I mean, that's just math.
Right.
It involves life, but you know what I'm saying? If you want more votes, why are you eliminating possible voters?
Yep. And the thing is, it's not even about that, but it's people that they have a hatred for a particular population. But James put out a good comment. But people who grew up in China, they are criticizing the policy, the one-child nation. And there's several ways to control your population. You can do this without murder.
Yes.
But to do this, the way you control your population the right way is you teach people how to care for their children and make sure that they get the right resources, so that each child they know that they are responsible for. China has a very aging population right now. I think they had an issue with the male-female dynamic. There's too many men versus the women.
But that's their own doing. Because, at one point with this policy, it was because, hey, we want to have a male child. And if you have a female, then you have to ask permission. Can you try again to have a male child?
Yeah, look at this documentary. But why did they stop that policy? But what are the conditions that led up to them saying, you know what, we must stop this? Now, I know in this documentary here, this girl, she's from China. She went there to visit her family from there, and I think she was giving up because what happens is it's a one-child policy, but the women end up having another child because they're having sex. So they're embarrassed, they're scared to expose that next child to the world. So they immediately put it inside a bag and take it to the garbage dump to throw it out, right? And they try to kill it first, but a lot of times the baby ain't dead. And then there's this guy, a lot of times, he lives at the garbage dump. He ended up picking up some of those live babies and selling them. And they would be, sold overseas and sold here and there, whatever.
What, their remains or they're sold alive? I mean,
they were sold alive because some of them didn't die. They were in bags. The baby, the newborn baby, they would just take and throw them in the garbage bag. It was big, big pile of the community garbage. So so that's that's all in this little document. You can
y'all have any salads?
What?
Salads.
Salad? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let me,
Parmesan.
hold on 1 second, Mike.
1 second. Yeah. Yeah, but they throw them. They throw. This is a good documentary to read, to check out. Now, he says that let's see, they aren't headed into famine anymore. Well, exactly. But that famine itself would take care of the business. Well, they had to do what they had to do, and I understand that. But abortion is actually, even a one-child policy is better than abortion. I think a one-child policy is probably better than abortion, because at least it just made the family a little smaller. So but abortion is killing first of all, America doesn't have that problem. It's only 300 million Americans on this particular land. We got plenty of room here. It's just that the policies here are trashy because, of the stuff, racism and these different internal wars. That's what's happening here.
But plenty of room all over the planet. And
right.
People actually believe this. Oh, the world is too populated. Yeah, we do need to do something. There are vast areas that people aren't even living in that can be farmed or do nothing. I mean, vast areas. You can look in the city you in, and there are vast areas that aren't populated. Not saying someone doesn't own the property, because we know what Bill Gates is doing. It's just with the farm areas.
Yep. And that's the thing. So it's just a narrative to try to get the people to depopulate themselves.
But why can't the smartest of us, the talented 10th, see this?
We are seeing it. But the people who you were told is the smartest, they are not the smartest. Maybe the people, see, it's like this. You're living in a world full of lies. Who's the controller of this world that tells you a man should be a woman and a woman should be a man? A child should run the world, start wars with everybody, put poison and everything. This is God. These type of people don't have morality. These type of people are, you can't look at the mainstream in this type of environment, because the oligarchs and the folks that run this system, they have a little club, and it's a demon club.
And Bill Carlin said what? It's a big club and you ain't in it.
Right. And they call themselves Dracula and all this weird stuff, dragon and this and all the crap, put horns on their head and drink blood and stuff. So we don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, I'm not into the adrenochrome.
Right. We don't know none of that crap. So they are in charge of the education. So if they're telling you, oh yes, these are the smartest of you, the smartest that they're telling us that's the smartest are the ones that are better at fitting in to the dysfunction. So that's when you're getting a guy like this who would debate BMT, who's trying to convince normal people that it's 81 genders and we need to be accepting of trans people reading to our kids, and who take it's like this guy.
Wait, pause. Everybody stop. I literally said I have cognitive eyes to tell that's not a fucking girl. That's a boy with a fucking wig acting like a girl. That's transphobic. You now
what
say
I was attracted to.
No. You
what,
now
what,
say
what I was
you attracted to girls.
Boy,
I said that boys do not want no trans. They wanted a girl.
A vagina. How a 5-year-old ain't seeing the actual? They're looking at the outside package. You see, and if you can't understand that, I can't call you the smartest of us. If you're a college educated with 3 master's degrees, PhDs, and I look at, and I'm a 5-year-old, and I look at a dude, but he just got a wig on and some extra makeup and with deep voice, I'm like, that is a dude. I immediately, at a 5-year-old or 6 or 7 or 10-year-old, I see, wow, that's a man. You can't call him a man or her a man. There's genders and then there's sex. Okay, there's 81 types of genders at least. According to this website, I'm gonna give you a list, and because I could pull it up on the website, you should just believe it. So that when you're talking about the smartest so-called people, we got to get, some of no, they're not smart. They just fit in. They just want to say the right thing so they can get the money. That's it.
Sold out for money. So maybe we should start calling them Judases instead of the smartest ones. Because if they're willing to take 30 shekels of silver, then, hey, Judas sounds like it fits. Because you're betraying your own future, your legacy, your lineage.
Right. And no, I don't call you stupid because you ain't got my agenda, but guess what? The agenda of having kids is the agenda of life, having life forms. No, I didn't call you stupid though. You don't want that agenda, you don't want children, that's fine. But it just ends your family line, that's all. And what I'm doing is I'm encouraging folks who are decently intelligent, and forward thinking, think about passing on your legacy, because the thing is, if you got all these folks having children who may not be equipped or may be racist, they end up having the most kids, or maybe the folks who are not as smart, they probably end up having a lot of children, and maybe the children don't grow up good. So the new generation is going to be full of folks who have all these traumas and problems, but all of the people in the previous generation who had a decent, sustainable, ideology, they chose, no, we're not going to pass on a legacy to the next generation. We're just going to go ahead and die and end our family line right here. You don't have any influence on the future.
Well,
that's how they.
Unfortunately, they have an influence now.
Well, the thing is, now think about this, because I know you heard this argument a little bit. You got these people who think they got all of these degrees. Let's say a woman, okay, she got 15 degrees and she's a scientist. Let's say Oprah versus, Shanae, who's in, the Joy Road apartments in Detroit, or, Cabrini Green or whatever. And she got 10 kids by 7 different dudes. Now, nobody knows Shanae. People know Oprah. Oprah passes away, no children. Her money, all of her life's work goes to where? The state,
her feds.
The feds, whoever.
Oh no, her pets.
Right.
Animals.
Let's say out of 10 kids, 4 of them kids decided to do something to better themselves. They don't want to be poor no more. They got themselves together. And the rest of them just had more kids. 200 years from now, if I'm looking on Facebook for comments on, they're starting to sell you information. Oh, you can find your ancestors' comment. What was your ancestors saying at this time? Who's gonna be researching what Oprah? Ain't nobody really care. They're gonna be researching their family. Like right now today, if you do an ancestry search in records, you're looking for your family. But if those people didn't have any children, who's looking for them? Nobody.
Yeah,
Because
no legacy, no
even
lineage.
even if you yourself did not have any beneficial consequences on that time period that you lived in, let's say you were drunk, you were stupid, you didn't do anything, but you just so happened to have some kids, and those kids, some of them went out and did something halfway decent. They're going to look for you. They're looking at their family line. That's how it goes. Because every generation is not going to be the most productive, but you just continue the family line. But you got the most productive people. Now your family is starting to get productive, and you can starting to get a little smart, and you guys can travel and you can do this stuff. Oh, now, yeah, here's the time. Well, let's end our family line.
Voluntarily.
Yeah, that doesn't make no sense, do it? Keep your family line going.
But they got the paperwork. I mean, they went to college and
they got to be
smart. They can't figure it out.
You don't have to have money. Cavemen didn't have money either. People trip me out with the money argument about kids. Dude, how much money does a gazelle have? How much money does, I don't know, dude, just having babies and stuff is natural. Look. Hey, no, it just doesn't have to make sense to me. You're right. But I'm just, I'm a talking head. So I sit here and I blather. So that's what I'm gonna do. Blathering on.
Look,
hey, I expect everybody to do their thing.
Look, I don't want to butcher the verse, so I'm gonna paraphrase.
Right.
But the word speaks to that the Lord cares enough about the animals to make sure that they're fed. How much more value are you to him?
Right.
So he's going to make sure that you're fed. You may not see how he's going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't, but he has provided, and I have 3 children, and they are well taken care of.
Yeah, and it's a fact. My mother, she was, I was raised in a single family household. I think with the food stamps and stuff, she only got like a certain amount a month, like $300 something, and it was 8 of us. Every one of us lived.
Everybody managed to survive.
And we're taking care of her, and I was working, doing stuff now. So and then James says, "Why is my business yours anyway?" No, it's not mine directly. But
we all live in this world.
Yeah, we live in a world. It's not my business directly, but if I value your intelligence, James. I think you're an intelligent guy. We don't have to agree all the time. Sometimes we're going to debate this and that and all that. I'm never looking for people just always. They're on lockstep everything. Now, I don't focus on the argument part. But I'll say, well, okay, I guess we don't agree on that part, but here we go. Let's go to this part. Nothing wrong with that. But I do think you're a valuable person, and I'm like, okay, I'm noticing that a lot of the so-called smartest of us, we don't want children. Huh? Wow. It's just interesting. It's just interesting.
But those who can't have children, and I'm speaking to those who deal in same-sex situations,
right,
are more than willing to take on your children and show them that which they shouldn't.
Right.
I mean, I always thought that was one of the things about living that lifestyle, that you're not gonna have children.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're trying to make that not the societal norm. I mean, what what is chest feeding? What is that?
Chest feeding. Hey, I think if you watch that documentary, James, you can go to that garbage dump and you can probably pick up 2 or 3. I don't know if it still exists over there in China because they changed their policy, but you know.
But for James, for you to say what business,
I think he's still in China. I don't know. James is in China, I believe.
but to his question of what about my business being your business, that's a cop out. To me,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to insult anyone, but to me, that's a cop out because you're not addressing what is happening. You're just saying that, well, this is my business. It ain't none yours. Okay, well, those children that have been aborted in the past, if they were allowed to live, they would have met some of the other aborted children of the past and had more children.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it's all of our business. Not that I can come make you, not you, James, or a woman, where a doctor, you know,
There
I
he
can't
is.
make you not have a
Now we got James up here. What's up, James?
What's up, Mike? What's up?
There he is.
B-roll.
Come on in,
We got
James.
the honor of you calling in. Go ahead. Tell us about the children thing.
Which one about the children thing?
Yeah,
I mean,
ideology on the children and how they cost so much money. And
well, the thing is, you have to make choices, and sometimes you don't really find the right woman, also, and sometimes the right woman might not be the right woman, and she's also got her freedoms if she doesn't want to have kids. You know, it's not like I ran right into. If I had kids in high school, shit, I'd still be stuck in America. You know, and I mean, there's America's really hostile. Like
yeah.
the rest of the world is not so hostile to children and to parents as America is.
Mm-hmm.
Like abortion, I had a girl here, she had to get an operation on her stomach, and I had a little accident, and she went to the hospital, and they're like, shit, we can't do the operation, you're pregnant. And this was like a, you know, she needed to this was like a planned operation, so they had to, and she's Chinese, you know, she didn't want any of this to come out, you know, she didn't want to have her mom or her family know about her sex life.
Right.
But I mean, shit, she almost committed suicide just because of the fact that her family put her down because she had sex, you know. So I mean, there's other things that, and this is not everywhere, you know. I mean,
These are just
you
the
know,
normal problems of that place.
so that's one abortion. Another abortion, I think, one of my mom had an abortion because it was an empty uterus. Like there was no fertilized egg. It was just like a you know, and it was she was pregnant and she was getting pregnant, but there was no child there. My sister had a dead birth, and they had to pull that out after 7 months. Had no heartbeat. And a friend of mine, she got pregnant, or I was 19, she was 34. She had a 12-year-old son. And I don't know, you know, I was young, she was needy, and it just happened, you know, and then it was her choice. I didn't even know about it, you know. So
yeah, that right there. She's so much older than you.
Yeah, and she's protecting herself, her son, her family, you know, and you know, it's just like, oh, shit happens, but that's like when you talk about the extermination of black people through abortion, that's American fucking shit. That's your history. You got to deal with that. That's not everybody else's history, and that's not everybody else's agenda. You know, in the rest of the world, we do use condoms and the pill and, you know, other things that prevent, because having sex in our generation is a recreational thing. You do it. People have sex. It just happens. They tell you in school, if you have sex, you're going to get pregnant. Yeah, but we're not in the 1960s anymore. We're not in the 50s. We're not in the 1800s. And even then, they used lamb or sheep intestines and put that over their, you know, or they stuck a towel in the girl's vagina or something, you know. just
What's the point? Because if you put a towel there, really? Yeah.
Hey, I understand that in America you have stuff like Planned Parenthood, and they commercialize abortion, where they're aborting fetuses, taking those fetuses and selling this
Yeah.
genetic material to science and research labs,
Right.
which does not necessarily happen all over the world. You know,
It does happen in China, though.
Well, it happened.
I don't know.
Well, I'll say it like this, James.
Hmm.
America is not the entire world. Of course, you know that.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, it has an influence over a lot of different smaller places.
Well, yeah,
And
it
yeah,
pushes
and
that influence.
so what happens here? A lot of times it gets those sorts of agendas and some of that stuff, some of those practices and policies get adopted in different parts of the world.
They get adopted because America goes and says, you're going to adopt this shit, or we're going to cut you off financially, or we're going to start a war with you.
Yeah.
Easy. You're going to give us your resources, and we're going to give you weapons. And if you don't take our weapons and don't give us your fucking resources, we will invade your country and take it all and fuck all your people.
That's right. That's an American pastime. It's called robbery.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what the government does. And no one gives a shit about all those adult children that have now been aborted. You know, the 50,000 people aborted. 100,000 people aborted.
James, no, some of us do care.
Yeah, but not enough. You know, because it always seems to be like, oh, look at us here in America. Da, 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 da. It's just like, no one gives a fuck about in America. You got so many fucking problems. Go check somewhere else where you are also starting the same problems.
Right.
You know, you're
but check this out, James. This is my question, though. See, for folks like you, who you see the world in I would say a functional light. You know,
way.
like we don't get everything. We're not in agreement on every little single thing, and that's fine. But I'm just saying, it's like, okay, like, you know, but those people who disagree with you and who who agree with supporting started the wars and all that kind of stuff. Oh, they got like 4 or 5 kids. But the people who, you know, there's nobody carrying on legacy.
But
that's all.
They're supporting the war because they're financially tied to it, and because they're financially making money off of this, they can afford to have 6 kids that will continue doing the same fucking thing, and you end up with this tiny percentage of people that are all in government. You know how like your mom is a cop, your dad is a cop, their son is a cop. He went to the military. He's been to the military. They came out, went straight to be cops, you know, and they're fucking tyrants their whole life. Why would they want to stop that? They can literally be criminals and do whatever the fuck they want and cause all this. Shoot black people, shoot weed smokers, fucking beat up homeless people, set fucking drug addicts on fire. Yeah, sure. They can do it and get away with it. And they got families in this. That's the whole police union. I mean, they've got their own fucking agenda. Nobody wants to defund the police. They just want to defund the fucking union that allows them to have so much fucking control. You murdered somebody. Oh, qualified immunity.
Criminal. To me, that union is criminal.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of agendas going on, and I'm probably just ranting on here. You know, I just feel like that. And you know, that might be the thing of me not growing up in the States. I don't have this hostile way of thinking of different races or different genders, but it's also not all right in my face. You know, I'm surrounded by black hair. Everybody's got black, long, straight black hair here. Everybody. You could pick me out of 100,000 people. Like you're like, oh, right there. I see him right there. That's what I used to be. I used to be at a festival and people are like, what's the meeting point? I'm the meeting point because everybody can see me, you know? So it's you kind of like, I don't know if they have an agenda now. Sure, they have an agenda. They want to kind of, you know, get rid of the surplus of what you in America would call illegals. There were plenty of illegals here. They were just, you know, buying their visas or not not extending their visas and just hiding here, doing work, living here. They kind of
Of what
grow without a visa
of
for
what
2 years.
of what nationality, James?
Huh?
Of,
Any
of what?
nationality. Because the thing is, in China, if you don't have a working visa, you're not married, or you're not a student, or not a tourist, you have no right to be here.
Mm.
You don't come here and work at McDonald's because there's 1.5 million other people that can work at McDonald's.
Yeah,
We need
that,
you to come. They need you to come over here with something they need. Like if you work for Nike and you're the foreign manager for it, then you come here and they're just like, okay, you quality assurance, you check everything's good, that there's no slave labor going on. Although the company would be looking to pay as little as fucking possible. Oh, slave labor? Man, we can make some money.
but
Capitalize.
and that's why I asked what nationality, because I'm very curious as to whom would choose to enter China illegally. I mean, America
No,
has
well,
open doors. They, whoever get here, you here for the most part.
yeah, but
They don't like
but America also makes money off of illegals. They make money off of the illegals. Take jobs that Americans don't want to do. I can name probably a couple jobs that you two wouldn't want to do, or me either.
Name
Picking
one.
fucking asparagus. Picking
Look, it's
asparagus.
not. Hold on.
I picked that.
It's not. It's not what the job entails. It's the pay. It's the
Yeah,
pay.
yeah.
Hey,
It-
But
but
America wants to capitalize on the lowest labor
guess,
costs and then the highest profit selling
guess what I
price.
found? I'm here in California. There's a lot of farms here, and there's a lot of folks that undocumented illegals, right? They pick the farms and everything. I went up there to go try to see what that was like. I wanted to work on one of those farms, and
You overqualified.
no, they're not going to let you because you're not Spanish. You're not Spanish. You're not speaking Spanish. You can't work
Yeah.
here. They think you're
And you might go back and tell on everybody.
right. But the thing, I found that they get $17 an hour and stuff. They get a nice amount of money.
Yeah. I mean, if $17, dude, $17. If I could pay, let's say I had a company here,
and hold on, let me finish. Let me get this.
Is what I got in 2011.
If you got a whole family, hold on a second. You got a whole family living in the same house. They all work at the same place, and they get that same pay in the same house. So it's not just like the dad's getting $17 an hour supporting the whole house. No, it's the dad, the mom, the oldest son, the others. All of them. They
family.
Yes. So that's how they make it.
Yeah, I mean, and I must admit, in like white, or I guess also black or whatever communities, or it's kind of taught. It's like your parents take care of you until you're 18, and then you're kind of on your own. Some kids leave house when they're 12 because they can't stand it. It's horrible. And some kids stay at home until they're 28, but they're also frowned upon. On the other hand, you have Middle Eastern people, you have Spanish people, you have Chinese people, where it's just like one house, 3 rooms, everybody lives in it, everybody goes works, everybody pays into one pot. Then they buy themselves a second house, and then they rent that house out. And then they make money off that house, make money continuing working, and then boom, they got the third house. And then they get themselves the freaking nice car, because everybody's pitching in. You got 5 people working on this. And you got the grandma taking care of the kids. That's in China. It's like usually if everything's perfect, the Chinese will have a kid every 25 years. So kid's born, by the time it's 25, it's got another kid.
One kid every 25 years.
I don't like China perfect. I don't like China perfect. A child every 25 years.
No, but that's because then the chance, like if I had a child now, her grandma, my child's grandma, would be 54.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's on my wife's side. On my side, she'd be 75. That's 20 years difference, because our upbringing is We're still trying to get out of the house, have a little successful, make a little bit money to then be able to have children in our between 30 and 40. You know,
And
some
that
kids
right
have
there
them
with
early.
the American idea, it's really an infection. It's like children are seen as it's like looked at as a cost, as a burden, versus part of
Like how,
a part of your legacy. This is a part of your life. You know what I mean? Like that's the
so is
way.
your grandma, and so is your great grandma.
Yes.
And when you're in that 25 years frame, and some might be less, some might be more, you will have a child that has a grandma that has worked, or a great grandma, and they're at home.
Mm-hmm.
While you have four grandparents, and then you have more brothers and sisters. My this one child policy is often misunderstood. My wife also has a brother, and they're in their 30s. So it's this misunderstanding of like what the government says and then what the people do. It's just like, oh shit, only can have one child. Oh fuck, it should be a male. Oh fuck, kill all the girls. And then the government's like, what the fuck are you doing?
That's
No, you can't be killing people.
But
did
that happen?
The government has no issue killing people, no matter where you are.
But let me ask you this, James. Did that kind of end up happening where it was like, okay, the one child policy, oh my God, we got they can see what the sex of the child is, and if it's a girl, they're like, oh, we don't want this, let's kill it.
It could have happened sure it happened. I mean, anything you can imagine happened.
Trend, but was it a nose trend? Something in maybe China that you know about? Is that a trend that you've heard about that had happened?
No. Yeah, it had happened, but I mean, this shit's like 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So and it didn't happen everywhere, and it's kind of like when you see, I don't know, a group of black people going down the street and fucking shooting up places, and you're just like, oh shit, that's how all of America must be, and it's like, no, it can happen everywhere, but it usually doesn't. You have to also understand the part of the one-child policy was for larger cities, because larger cities had less agriculture than, so it's like if you're a farmer, they're just like, no, don't kill your children. You need those children as you said, the legacy of farming. They don't want the farmers to come and live in the city. They want the farmers to stay and work on the farms.
Okay.
But the thing is, they didn't want the city folks to have 3 children and then there not being enough food, because you've got people that produce food, and you got, some people feed the nation and some people suck off the nation, like cops, they get paid from taxes, or they get paid from, they're sucking, and all they do is suck. They're just like, find somebody, incriminate him, suck money out of him, make him poor.
Yeah, put him
they don't grow anything. They don't grow food. They don't nourish the fucking community. They don't, there's always something that they're going to suck.
An investment banker.
Money.
Hey, but check this out, man. I'm going to be ending this off in a minute.
Right.
I want to get a couple of guys. I just want to get y'all reactions to this. I got a clip here. I just want y'all to see this. Y'all might have seen this already, but I just want to see what y'all say about this.
Gap got hurt today on that news, and in general, it's been a struggling retailer. They lost the CEO, Sonia Singhal, the one who you, I believe, made the deal with to begin with, and they're trying to stabilize the overall business. You've always liked this company, and you talked about how you had high hopes for the partnership. Do you think that Gap can ever sort of regain its cool again and be a big player?
They only have one opportunity to be able to be a big player. What do you think it is?
I feel like you're not happy with them today, so you're not going to be too optimistic.
No, I'm saying they have one individual on the planet that could save the Gap. And
who
that
is it?
individual, I'm asking you, who do you think it is? Sometimes the answer is sitting right in front of you.
Well, there was a lot of potential in this deal, but it sounds like you're terminating.
Well, don't bring a leader in and have them not lead. why would I argue with people who are getting paid by the Gap? I'm sorry, I'm not going to argue with people that are broker than me about money.
I don't know that kid. What do y'all think about that?
What was the last thing he said? I'm sorry. What?
He said,
I
"I'm
don't.
sorry, I'm
I
not
don't
going
talk to people that make less money than I do.
Well,
Or
he's going to say, why would I argue with people who are getting paid by the Gap about money? I'm not going to argue with people about money who make less than me. I don't know that it seemed kind of like brash, but guess what? I kind of agree with him. I like the way he handled that. I don't
what's
know.
this?
I mean, but then that makes money the measure of intelligence, and that's not accurate.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I don't know. I just thought that when he's negotiating his deal, I just think that's a good. I don't know. It's a good lesson because you get inside these circles and you're trying to negotiate deals, and you know how they kind of got Kanye's image, trying to make him look like he's an idiot. But obviously, he's not as dumb as they try to make him seem.
No, but man,
I mean,
money is a tricky thing.
this is
Money
how
is
they
a very
talk,
tricky
though.
thing.
This is how they talk in those circles.
I get that. What I don't get is part of your album showcase. Showcase, and I'm speaking of Kanye. It was at the Georgia Dome. Why did you burn a church to the ground?
Oh, really? I don't know about that. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I mean, and then it was repeated in Chicago. As a matter of fact,
But I thought he was supposed to be a Jesus guy and churchy. He was all into the church.
Yeah, those are just words.
Okay,
And granted, God does live and build and made with men's hands, but it's still you're projecting an image that doesn't, I would say, doesn't jive with Christianity.
okay.
I mean, dude is weird.
Hey, what do you think? How did that? Did you have any idea on that, James? What did you think?
Honestly, I mean, this is Gap. The only thing I've worn from Gap is maybe Old Navy. I don't know. I like his little space glasses. I don't.
That was pretty much nothing, right?
What should I say? It's just like
I don't know. It was just interesting to me.
What you say? Hey, stick to making music. Yay, stick to songs, man.
Hey, he's all. I think he's a billionaire. So
yeah,
got some lessons to be learned. So
I don't know why he's on that show. Even it's just like, why do you even come up here?
Well, I think it's a money show.
I don't get why he has all the issues with when it comes to the courts. That because us who have the issues, and I'm talking about the everyday person with the courts, don't have the money in many cases to be able to just handle it. Well, he can just handle it. I mean,
I don't know because
why doesn't he have the children? I mean, yeah, Kim is the mother, but if she's doing these things that he has the money to show the courts, hey, this is what's going on.
Well, that's probably speaking to what James was saying. Children are, having children is, and then like you said, if you have them with the wrong person, they can make your life a living hell. But that's still temporary.
True.
You'll go through those problems with the courts. They're gonna always, if you got some money or something, you're gonna be in court about something.
Right. I mean, this is business. There's constantly business-related court things,
Yeah. So,
It's
Yeah,
all
but
about money. As soon as the cops arrest you, and they're just like, boom, here's your fine. You're just like, oh fuck, now I need to go to court to fight this financial
yes,
burden on you. You
yeah,
know, it's
financial
just
thing.
like, well, then you're gonna have to go to jail. It's just like the fuck, you know.
Yeah, we're going to incarcerate you. Oh,
That's all it is. As soon as they can get you into court, the system's making money, which
yeah.
it's supposed to do, and unfortunately, it's designed that way. It's just like you have a contract, somebody breaches it, he does, you know, and then you either go to court or you take the loss.
Okay, but when you just have money coming out your ass, like
Well,
Kanye,
it's the thing is though. Here, what is this? He took it over. They partnered with him in 2020. You
Mhm.
know, I mean, that's right at the pandemic time. So, I mean, maybe his sales went down. They apparently closed stores here, lost a whole bunch of money at some point. Maybe he's just like, fuck, where's all that money that used to come out of my ass?
Right.
And it's just like,
but
boom, done.
it's still coming out. He's a billionaire.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. This is just a stage in between. He's taken the next step to become a brand like Macy's. Or Kmart, or because he's just like, wait, why should I just do clothes? And then before he was just like, well, I'm going to give jobs to black people in America. And now he's like, well, fuck that. I can make 10 times more money if I send this shit to Bangladesh. And
money.
then he's like, shit, now money's back coming out of my ass. And it doesn't matter he's supporting or whatever. It's just he's figured out how to make 1 million, 10 million, 100 million. Now he's at 1 billion or 2, and it's
but still got baby mama issues. I mean,
Well, everybody has that. They just don't show it though. See, that's why I kind of like Kanye's because it's like he we know him almost. I don't say I know him personally, but I'm just saying we kind of were able to watch this guy, his mom and them coming from, relatively normal. They weren't super poor, but they were, poor by his standards now. And he moved up and did what he did. He's kind of always kind of remained that he say whatever he want to say out of his mouth almost, but he still seems like he ends up doing something that's relatively successful. And what I tell people is, and the reason why I say that is because I like to go by what people actually produce versus what necessarily the image is sometimes. And I'm this guy, he's married, but he probably married a Kardashian. Maybe that was the problem. But he was singing about her before he even got married, so he must have wanted her a long time. But yeah, I mean, he got children.
yeah, I mean, it wasn't a surprise to me that he married her. Like you said, been singing songs to her.
Yeah,
but
so maybe he wanted her a long time. So,
he said, I'm gonna get me Kim K. I'm gonna get me some of that.
He said it. 18 years. She got me for this long. So no matter what happens. But sometimes you're willing to go through those problems, and then he's trying to make sure his kids get halfway decent images or whatever. But I just think that just because he's got $1 billion, they can still try to run him through the ringer.
Okay, I got cash coming up my ass. Let's do it. I don't know. I would think not that money solves everything, but good night.
Yeah, I think that. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna end this off. We had a good conversation. We kind of went a nice little time. I know everybody. I don't know what time it is over there, James, but I gotta go to sleep because I gotta sit up here and start going to work at a factory.
All right. It's midnight. Midday.
All right, y'all.
fellas.
All right, peace out. Appreciate y'all calling in and coming in. And James, Leroy, thanks, bro. All right, y'all. And that's pretty much it, guys. And I guess I'll end it like this. And shout out to BMT for allowing us to use this this footage. My thing is, we evolve stupid when the dumbest people have the most kids. and the so-called smartest people have 0. You have all of these stipulations before you get with someone, but you can't reproduce and create legacy. So let's create good legacy. Let's do our best. Let's not, I mean, whatever agenda you take on, at least let that agenda line up with life. Don't have agendas telling people that they should not reproduce and all that crap. So I think that's where I'm going to end it off, and appreciate you all. Peace.